Hi Libra, this is your homework family reading for Libra, all Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs for June 15th through the 30th. Now, before I get into the cards or the astrology or anything, first thing that Spirit gives me is kind of like two opposite sides of the spectrum. I'm being told there's going to be some issues that you're dealing with from the heart to the head. More or less coming through the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. But I really feel like it's more of the heart and the crown. I'm very much getting the energy that's coming through is of the heart that needs to be balanced. I feel like the heart is the one that's being ignored here. Being pushed aside a little bit more, so to speak, because of the different feelings that I'm being given by Spirit. I feel like, let's face it, Libra, you guys are an air sign, so you're a thinker. And let's face it, Libra is all about creating harmony by finding where harmony is not. Creating balance and harmony by finding where harmony is not. And I feel like you're over logical about it. And the reason I say it's two different sides of the spectrum is because what I'm getting is you're trying to heal or find harmony or create balance. Create harmony or balance in a situation, but by pushing aside exactly what will help create the harmony or balance. And what I mean is over logically thinking about it. And what I'm being given by Spirit is a lot of frustration, grief, anger, fear, resentment, shame, within a situation. And more or less like you're trying to logically think your way through it instead of necessarily listen to the heart. And this is why I say the heart feels like it's being pushed aside. You're hearing it. You just don't want to hear it. At least for some of you. And I'm being given that pretty much for that heart through the crown chakra. But then I'm also in the more of the sacral chakra. But it could be the root, the sacral, and the solar. More of the sacral, though. I'm feeling repressed anger or powerlessness, which is caused in repressed anger, repressed energy in general, or powerlessness that has caused anger. Like I said, and it's dealing with all of these different energies because I'm really given a pain in the sacral chakra, more or less. And the way that it works for me is I know what the pressure points are and what these energies mean, and these are what's being given to me. So I feel like you're really having to work through the balancing. I feel like it's a juggling act. I feel like you're balancing, what is the right decision to make logically, what's the right things to say or do, or the actions to make. But you're trying to over logically think it through instead of really truly listen to your heart and soul about what it is you need or your desire. And I say this all the time for Libras, and I don't mean any disrespect, but like I said, you guys often try to create harmony and balance, and you sacrifice yourself. And I feel like this is part of the energy that I'm being given. Or like you're just afraid that if you pick yourself, not that you'll choose wrong, but if you pick yourself, that it'll cause so many issues around you. And I feel like it is definitely getting into the sacral chakra, and it's starting to affect how you believe about how and what you believe about yourself, and how comfortable you are within your own skin, because I feel like you're fighting doing what you should be doing naturally, because you feel like naturally you should be trying to choose harmony and balance being a Libra. But you have to first always choose it within yourself. Or the harmony and balance you create is fake and it won't really stand firm. It may stand firm and strong for a few years, but it'll come back. on you. And I feel like you're starting to acknowledge this, but it's a bad habit and you don't know how to change it. And that has to do with listening to the heart and choosing yourself first. Because when I feel like I'm hearing, and I say feel like I'm hearing, is because I feel like it's being put in me. I'm not really hearing it. But with all the different feelings that are coming in on the empath energy right now, is I feel like, you have to choose you first, but you don't know how, in a sense. And it's caused, but that has spiraled into anger, resentment, repressed energy, powerlessness, fear, being afraid, which is made resentment, which is made anger, which is made shame, which is made grief, for different ones of you in different ways grow into something that's actually working against you, and it's causing you to be out of balance. Even though everything about you is about trying to create harmony and balance. And I really feel like it's learning how to choose you first. I just feel like I need to check something here in my notes. Because I always keep all my notes with me when I do the readings. Yeah, because exactly what I'm being given when I look at my notes is saying you're overly logical. It's being overly logical, over material, over masculine energy. You're picking it too much. You're too active in that side, and you're not allowing the heart to actually help you sift through it. In my other notes, is telling me that this energy typically comes about when you don't take action on what it is you desire. You can't just think about what it is you desire. You must actually speak and take action and do what it is you desire. So, like I said, I say all the time with Libra, if you're creating harmony and balance for someone else, you're actually discreating it for yourself. The world around you must first start within you. And I very much am being set in that direction right now. Now, in astrology, for you, let me pick it up right. In astrology, for you, it looks like mostly everything is going on in your life in the fourth, fourth through the 10th house. Now, the fourth house is the home. It's the karmic energies of who and what you are. What's created you to be you. The home is your homeland, your personal foundations, the roots, your inner emotional security. It is your upbringing, your true self, your karmic self, and how you resurrect yourself. But then it goes into your pursuit of pleasure. Then it goes into your daily mundane tasks. Then it goes into your relationships, your rules of your relationships, and your what I call your spiritual house. It's your how you your religious views, your ethics, your morals, your spiritual urges, your psychic energy in general, your philosophy. This is how most of this is looking when we look at astrology. Because in astrology, for most astrologers, when they read your sign, they're either going to say that there's nothing in your house, which is completely false, or they're going to say there's palaces in your house. And Pallas is Athena, the warrior goddess. So in your self-awareness house, your universal first house for Libra, yes, it has Pallas in here. Athena, the warrior goddess. This is all about strategic thinking right now. But what they're not noticing is you have, say, here's the house. If I'm looking at all of the houses, each one has technically 30 degrees in it, 10, 20, and 30 degrees. So like at 20 degrees is where Pallas is, Athena, the warrior goddess. But you have Make, or Maki, and like the 10th degree. And then you have Haumea in like the 30th degree. I'm just giving it in the easiest way of explaining it. Most astrologers aren't even going to acknowledge, and I call anything, whether it's a dwarf planet, whether it's an asteroid, whether it's a comet, when I'm doing astrology, I just refer to them all as a planet. It just makes it easier when I talk. So you have all 3 planets in your sign. Now, this is, I always have to double check my notes because I get them backwards. Haumea is your collective consciousness, and it is at like the 30-degree mark, and Maki is like the lotus flower. So you have a lot going on in your sign directly, and it has conversations that nobody else is really going to be talking about. So you do actually have a lot going on. It's like secretly not being noticed by everybody else in a way. I'm sorry, Spirit was giving me something, and I don't understand it yet, so I can't say that just yet. It'll pop up. I'll understand it when in a few as I'm getting going. But in your self-awareness house is the collective consciousness, which is Haumea, and it speaks to you. I mean, I don't know how else to put that, of your collective consciousness. So you're becoming more aware. This is why that logical side is really, it's like trying to collect all the data, trying to figure out what to do, trying to make the right decisions. And your mind is overactive right now because of all 3 of these. I mean, it's strategic thinking, Haumea, the collective consciousness, and Maki or Make, which is where you are on the lotus flower. And I always say, where are you on the growth of the lotus flower? Are you still in the muddy, murky water, the dirt? Are you still, you can't see through the shit, you can't find the light because you can't see through the shit? And I feel like that's where a lot of you are trying to come out of, but you're still stuck believing you're there. And that's a believing process. That's a belief process that you have to break. Because on the lotus flower, the way that the lotus flower grows is it grows up out of the dirty, murky water. And then it starts to break through. And then it starts to reach for the sky. And the lotus flower is all about our collective consciousness. But it has stages of its growth just like we do, just like a child does, just like our spiritual maturity does. So I feel like in the lotus flower, a lot of what I'm getting from you all is you're either coming into the breakthrough where you're coming out of that murky water and you're starting to believe, oh, I can see the light again. I can see which direction to choose. But you're not in full 100% belief of following that direction yet, or you just haven't broken through and you just can't see through the murky water to find the light for the death of you. I feel like you're really over strategically thinking, and when you're trying to over strategically think because you're not letting the heart be part of that communication, it's pulling you away from what you truly want, because over logically trying to make these decisions without heart is going to lead you back to that repressed energy, right back to the anger that is being built because of the repressed energy, dealing with shame, guilt, with, anger and frustration, because you're trying to create that balance, but you're not creating it within yourself. You're creating it exteriorly. So I feel like this is really where it's coming. And for some of you, I keep being told this is going to be happening like in the relationship zone of your corporate business on the exterior world. And that the relationship in some of your lives aren't like husband, wife, children, isn't that kind of relationship. I'm being told some of them is, on a business level, or just a cooperative level, and not being cooperative with yourself, but some of it, because some of them being told is definitely in a corporate way, but some of this has to do with being cooperative. because it sounds like the way that they're giving it to me almost sounds like it's the same word, but it's not. So it's got to be, depending on who I'm channeling. For some, it's going one way, and some, it's going the other way. Some, you're not being cooperative within the relationship, but some of it's definitely only dealing in that business aspect of those parts of your relationships in that vicinity. Now, like I said, most of this is taking place in the outer community for you, which is dealing with the other people in those relationships, your outer world. It is your social experience within the world around you. But it is also talking about those top priorities within your life that are helping to set the standard of what it is you desire to create, but it's creating it from a more private energy, more private understanding of who and what you are. And you have to sift through the truths of that as you start to move forward, more or less. Now, you have a full moon taking place on the 17th in Capricorn. It is a void, of course, from Sagittarius to Capricorn, because on the day of the full moon, the 17th, the moon is actually coming out of Sagittarius. So you may be feeling energies of both. Now, for you directly, this is talking about your third and your fourth house. So this is communication going into the home. So this is communications of the siblings and the journeys. Short journeys is what I mean. Like traveling to 7-Eleven, to the store real fast and back. Short communication. Your neighbors. This is your trivia, your intellect, your details of the short situations and those conversations, your text messages, your emails, your phone calls, your local gossip, coming into that home feeling and home related situations. Home also speaks to the child that you was. It also speaks to where you came from. This is how your roots were created. Your true self, your return to self, your karmic lessons, your reincarnation. This is the home. You can never get away from this, guys. No matter how much you try, this doesn't go away. But it is also the home energy. So I feel like I said, I feel like a lot of this is a karmic lesson you're learning to overcome about yourself as you start to move into a new direction and really start to plant a new seed. And I feel like it is planting a new seed. I don't feel like you're anywhere at that blooming process other than the blooming of planting the new seed at this time. And I really feel like it is dealing with strategic thinking, like on a logical level. But if you overanalyze it because you're not allowing the heart to have that collective consciousness in this conversation, it will be a recycle that you'll be starting all over again. So it'll actually become a karmic lesson, which is what that fourth house is. And this is where the full moon is taking place on the 17th, because your full moon is in Capricorn. I'm trying to pull up my astrology again. Your full moon is in Capricorn, which puts it directly in opposition with Mars, Mercury, and Uranus. Not Uranus, Mars, Mercury, and Jera, which happens to be sacrifice, commitment, your passion, your action, your aggression, and communication taking place in your 10th house. And your 10th house, that explains it why I was hearing it in the beginning. The 10th house is your honor, your reputation, your prestige, your personal, professional career. It's your social foundations, what is considered duty or authority and responsibilities in life. So you're taking the home, the karmic debts and the lessons that you've learned about yourself, the roots of yourself. You're taking your reincarnation of yourself, your inner emotional security. Your true self is being brought to attention versus the outer community. Like I said, this is where the careers are, the responsibilities, the authority, and there's a fight there of what needs to shift and change and take place for soulfully working for you in better ways in your life. So something is going to be being brought to your attention that you need to take action on. Instead of hoping and wishing and dreaming that you make these things change, this is something that you have to actually start working and making change. Now, I'm not telling you to quit your job, but maybe standing your ground about your job in a different situation. And maybe you're being pushed around and it's something that's not morally sitting with you or ethically sitting with you, and you need to stand your ground in the situation and allow your true self to be like, no, these are not, there's something here which is in opposition of each other, of your passion, your action, your aggression, your communication, your sacrificing, your commitment, and that outer community, which is fighting the roots of who and what you are. Because that's what home is all about. And it's coming into, the rules, walls, and boundaries that you need to shift about yourself. Okay, and I say it this way because, like I said, this is coming into where Saturn is, and Saturn is taking place in the home. So something about you is over logically taking care of the outer community and not taking care of yourself. This is why I said right from the beginning, I feel like you're not listening to the heart, or you're trying to push it off to the side and make it a little less important because you're trying to fix everything else. And I feel that it's very important for you to realize that. Now, on the 20th and the 26th, you have Jura moving out of Cancer and into Mars. Not out of Cancer and into Leo. For Jura. And then on the 26th, you have Mercury moving out of Cancer and into Leo. On sometime right in the beginning of July, you also have Mars, which is moving out of Cancer and into Leo. So this is your commitment, your sacrifice, your communication. This is your passion, your action, your aggression, your sacral chakra. Like I was saying, I feel like there's something in the passion, action, aggression, sacral chakra, your sexual energy, how you sexually feel about yourself, believing in yourself, and coming into all of these energies of your creative, emotional truths, and the power of who and what you are with your own self-esteem and security and groundedness within who and what you are. This energy is having a communication with you and asking you to give yourself the sacrificing commitment that you deserve, but it is moving at the end of the month, and as you approach July, it is moving out of Cancer and into Leo, which is going to be for you. It's going from your 10th to your 11th house. So it's coming out of that professional area, out of your reputation, your honor, your prestige, out of your social foundations, your authority, your responsibilities, and it's going into the community, like where you have your memberships, your goals, your friends, your wishes. So it's about to shift from responsibilities to dreams, and really start communicating with you what that relationship is to you, what the relationship of your dreams are, and why you're not achieving them or going after them because of what it is you're not setting for yourself to be able to create it. So you're starting to see these energies build as you approach the end of July. Now you also have you have on the 21st, you have the sun moving into Cancer, and on the 21st, you have Neptune going retrograde. Now for you, Neptune is in your 6th house. This is your everyday mundane tasks. This is your diet, your security, your health, your hygiene. This is your career, your task, your volunteer work, how you take care of things, your daily work, your daily service. This is, like I said, everyday mundane tasks that you think you do every day that really aren't that big of a deal, but over time, they become what actually, it's like the patterns we create. The patterns we create, we get up, we get ourselves something to eat, we take our shower, we go to work. What are your process every single day? The process is every single day, your daily routines. Something within the daily routines has probably become a bad pattern that isn't helping you, isn't moving you in a proper direction, because we're talking about Neptune going retrograde. Neptune has Lilith in the house, which is talking to you again, taking it back to that sacral chakra, taking you back to how you feel about yourself. It's like I keep saying, if you feel good about yourself, you have a pep in your step. You have that extra smile. You feel good when you look in the mirror. You're like, yeah, I look good. You know what I'm saying? And something about your daily routines feels like it's weighing you down, and it's sifting into magic of ill waters or healthy waters. And the daily routine has gone from being something that was simple, and it feels like that something that was simple is starting to work against you, because there's something in the routine that's just weighing you down, not as healthy as it used to be. And you're starting to realize within your routines, and I don't mean shower, like get up, take a shower, get up, have breakfast, go to work, just something in the everyday routine isn't working for you the way it used to. It kind of feels like it's, here we go again, instead of having enjoyment in it, is what I feel like. And with Neptune going retrograde, it's going to be speaking to how you feel about yourself. Because if you're not feeling good about yourself and the relationship that you have with yourself, it's going to start tearing it down. More or less is really what I feel like this is talking about. Because Neptune is your magic. It's where fantasy and fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality. So where you've created to believe that something is something that it's not, is really what I feel like this is being told to me. That would be Gemini. Wrong sign. Yeah. So something in that daily routine you've convinced yourself is something that really it's not. And this is how you start to create your magic right off the bat. Fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality. But at the same time, this is creating with the Lilith energy, and Neptune is illusion and delusion. So it's magic, but it depends on where you're steering your magic. If you're steering it from an unhealthy point, from stale waters, stagnant waters, then you're not going to find something new and great. And I feel like that's definitely what is being brought to your attention. At least as you finish up the month and you move through the 21st. Plus, until the 21st, your magic is in shadow. So you may be looking at only the darker aspects, and you may actually need to wait until the 21st to figure out what is best for changing, because you're learning until it comes out of shadow what it is that's working against you, that you've created. Okay, now also, but in the outer community of your honor, your prestige, your professional career, and your foundation, your authority, and your responsibilities, though, the sun is getting ready to enter it on the 21st. So even though one energy is leaving, another one is bringing a new shine into the situation, which is going to illuminate so many different things for you. And I do feel like it is a positive thing. I feel like you may be feeling kind of like that. But this is because it's a process of understanding a deeper level and desire of what your soul desires for you, what you actually know you want and need, and your soul knows that you desire it. It's just making the change and learning the change and changing the routines that will actually help you to feel healthy and happier within your life is something that is questionable for you. And I feel like it's something that you have to be willing to make those changes on. And as you do, you'll feel better about life. Now, with that being said, let's see what the cards have to say. Nope. I still feel drawn to you. Still feeling drawn to you, so I don't care. I'm pulling you. What does Libra... Water. For me, water is your emotions, honey. You need to be listening to your emotions. You need to give them proper due. I'm not saying that your emotions are always right. I'm not saying that your emotions are always... Because emotions are funny that way. Emotions are just emotions. They can be the most positive thing and they can be the worst thing in the world. Water is healing. You have to listen to your emotions. It may not... Put it this way. No, anger is not good for anything other than to tell you what needs to change. The only reason you get angry and pissed off is because it's not working for you anymore. It's no longer able to continue to remain a lie you've told yourself. That's why you're angry about it. But that doesn't mean you should go beat somebody up. That means anger is telling you there's something going on within you that you haven't acknowledged, and now the truth is coming up. So your emotions have funny ways of teaching you lessons. But how you choose to act on them is completely up to you. You choose to choose the humane way or the inhumane way, and what is right or what's wrong. That's that Athena warrior goddess in your first house of self-awareness, sticking with that lotus flower and Haumea, your collective consciousness. So you're seeing the emotions, you're understanding the truths of the emotions. You may not like them, but the truths are coming out. Your emotional waters are being shown to you. Now, it's about making decisions that will help heal what the emotions are telling you and what you need to understand by being real with those emotions. Emotions never tell you what to do. They just help you understand what and why you feel that way. But like I said, when we're angry, we're not thinking clearly. When we're angry and we're frustrated, we're not thinking clearly. But the one thing you've got to realize with the emotions is they always have a very high alert cue. Here you go. Here's your answer. And like I said, with anger, it's always... Anger and frustration, it is always something isn't working for me. Something I can no longer lie to myself about. Something is not, I'm not happy about this, and that's because something needs to change. So these emotions, while they feel like they're taking you in one direction, if you could sit still in them for a moment, they will actually tell you what needs to happen. But then from there, you need to make it happen in a healthy way and figure out what's the right way of doing that to help support your life in ways that are serving you. Anything else that Libra needs to hear right here at the beginning, right as we enter the middle of June, that they need to understand they're sifting through? If you don't flip something over, we're going to move to the next deck. So I'm not really feeling it. I feel like one in here, but it's not really trying to really rise and come up. Yep. Mars. What was I just talking about? Your emotional passion. Your emotional passion. Your passion, your action, your aggression. Your inner sacral chakra. All of this is speaking to your emotional waters. So this is saying, this is definitely what you're sifting through, what you're feeling right now. And if you're listening to it and truly working with the honesty of that within your life, then you'll start to move in a different direction because you're actually listening to your inner truths. Like I said, sometimes harmony isn't about creating it for those outside of you. It must start within you. And if it doesn't start within you, then truthfully what you're creating is just another situation to start all over again, which in the long run is going to be another thing you have to heal. Sometimes we just have to take the time, sit still, sit in our silence, listen and figure out what our inner truths are, and then make the hard decisions. All right, what is the challenge for Libra? What's the challenge? For Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in Libra, what are they challenged for the second half of June? What's the challenge? I'm being told right off the bat what the challenge is understanding a higher spiritual level of, it's like a higher dimension of the logic, because it's coming from the heart, it's coming from the soul, it's coming from the oneness, it's coming from source energy. There is a logic behind it that is being used as you make the right decisions, better decisions that help you move forward. That help you move forward, but within that, it's coming from a higher level of what you're used to using. Because the logic becomes a whole lot easier once you step into the higher dimensions and you let the heart, the oneness, the soulfulness, not rule you, but direct your logic. Because yes, you still need to make proper decisions in your life, but if you're making them just with logic, without any heart, then you may be making them wrong, because what's popping up is judgment, which is your sign anyway. No, it's not. This is Scorpio. I'm sorry. But this is judgment, which is changing and making a crucial decision. It's in a reckoning. It is rebirth, resurrection, renewal. What was we talking about anyway? It is completion of one thing, or receiving some important news. So this is something, a judgment coming in your favor. But this is also, like I said, the challenge. The challenge is, will you make the right judgment? Will you be able to make the crucial decision? Will you be able to get the reckoning? Will you be able to rebirth? Will you be able to renew a brand new resurrection for yourself? Will you make the right decisions? Will you end the cycle and start something new? This is your challenge right off the bat. Libra. Sun, Moon, Rising, Libra. Because I'm being told there is something in the physical world that needs to change. In some way, physical or material world that needs to change. It is a healthy growth if you make the change. But that is also up to you. Then I am being given the Nine of Pentacles, which is Venus and Virgo. So you have Scorpio and Venus definitely on the board as well. This is being able to have the golden fields, the triumphant new beginning. This is finding the rejoicing energy, finding the happiness. This is the majestic tribal leader and the eagle bringing you through. This is finding the abundance and the riches because you made the proper judgment. This is finding that with the proper judgment, we'll start to make the changes that you created. But this is a challenge because as Libra, you're going to want to settle. And I don't even mean it that way, but I do. Libras, you guys are bad for settling. You want so much to have, harmony and balance that you forget to give you it. Don't settle. Fuck that. Fuck that. No. You want you to have love too. You want you to enjoy life. And if you're always, how can you be the bird that's rising? How can you be the bird that's rising? How can you have everything if you're giving all of your pentacles away? Pentacles is what's tangible. If you give everything that's tangible away to everybody else, what the hell do you have left? I'm saying, yes, we're all about helping others and, not being fully selfish and stuff and whatnot. But at this time, a lot of what I'm getting is take a little bit of selfish time, because you've got to figure out how to be good to you. If you can't figure out how to be good to you, then you're not going to be getting good to anybody else. And if you don't claim your ground, if you don't stand your ground, you'll fall for anything and you'll give all your pentacles away, more or less. Ace of Swords. These are your challenges. The Ace of Swords is finding the clarity that you're looking for. Finding the clarity that you're looking for and invoking a new form of mind and soul. And this sword for me is glowing in a red and orange, which is you're being able to passionately create a brand new beginning. But I'm only seeing it come into the ground. So this is saying you need to ground this energy and create it. But if you don't put that sword in the ground, if you don't put your spirit, your spirit, because your spirit would be the bird. If you don't put this energy into the ground, you're not going to create this. You'll start a new cycle all over again. Because for me, this energy is looking like you're fighting yourself to create it. Because it's coming for me in reds and oranges, which is very emotional, but it's something that will give you clarity if you believe in you and you take that chance. Anything from Thoth? Alright, is there anything else? Like I said, this really feels like it's something that you can create. You know you can create, you know that you're able to, but will you choose yourself? It's really what I feel like this is coming down to. Develop flexibility and aim to be in harmony in all environments. So this is saying that what I always say about Libra. You guys are always wanting to create harmony and balance, but this is saying to develop flexibility within that harmony for all environments. This means that everybody, including yourself, should be happy, should be healthy. This is about making sure that you're developing it in all areas, not just in one. Not just for the outer community. Yes, you want the outer community to be happy. I mean, because it's part of your life too, but that's too many. Anything else? Was it you? Yes, it was. Create healthy boundaries with those that are around you. Don't be afraid to slow down, as this is where you can make real inner changes. Like I said, I really feel like this is a glorious time for you, but you have to sift through your truths. You have to sift through your truths and what those truths really mean to you and where you really want to see things. I feel like it's a brand new cycle that's starting, but before the cycle can change, the choice has to be made. Will it be a new cycle, or will you start a new start? Will you start a new cycle, or will you continue with a different one? Daring. Find your voice and use it. Nice and loud, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. If you don't use it now, nothing will change. I love you guys. You have the power to be and create anything you want. Will you? Bye. See you next month.